Coming up next, a big clean out of homeless encampments near Plaza Bonita Mall. We have an update tonight from the South Bay.
So what does this heat wave mean for homeless people? We're down in the South Bay where one nonprofit has set up cool zones.
Hot, dry conditions across San Diego County and not thunderstorms. More details coming up.
Are you prepared for a fire in your neighborhood? Lessons learned from those who lost everything.
And is sriracha sauce discontinued and gone from stores for good? We verified. CBS 8 News Live at 6 starts now. The city of Chula Vista brought in heavy equipment today to clear out homeless encampments along a bike path near Plaza Bonita Mall. Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Marcella Lee.
I'm Carlo Cicchetto. CBS 8 has been working for you on the situation along the Sweetwater riverbed for months now. Our David Goffredson talked to the people on the ground today about the cleanup and about efforts to get housing for the people living in the encampments.
This is the third time in as many months that CBS 8 cameras have recorded cleanup efforts along a bike path near the Plaza Bonita Mall. The Sweetwater riverbed, where people have set up tents and makeshift shelters, crosses in and out of Chula Vista, the County of San Diego, National City, and Caltrans jurisdictions. The area being bulldozed this time falls in the city of Chula Vista.
This area, called as and referred to as the jungle, has been an issue for some time now.
The city's homeless solutions manager refers to the riverbed as the jungle, and she's quick to point out syringe needles and crack pipes found in the encampments. But she tells me the city of Chula Vista is trying to help those unhoused people get into shelters.
So what we're trying to do is come in and give people the resources and the housing opportunities that we have. Give them an opportunity to take their belongings, storage if they need it, and then of course if they're ready and open for housing, we are ready.
In May, Chula Vista opened up a brand new bridge shelter with 65 tiny homes. For those suffering from addiction, the city turns to the McAllister Institute to offer substance abuse treatment and education. A supervisor on site told me about 30 people who were living in the riverbed have been offered assistance.
We need more detox beds. You know, it's like you get a client that comes in and says he wants to go to detox, and if you tell them come back tomorrow, they may never come back. They might come back a year from now, 2 years.
The city of Chula Vista says they'll be here for at least another week clearing out this encampment. Of course, the problem is as soon as they leave, the unhoused people move back in and start setting up shop again. In Chula Vista, David Goffredson, CBS 8.
Temperatures outside, they kept climbing today, especially inland and in the mountains, but we haven't seen the worst of it yet.
Chief Meteorologist Carlene Chavis is here now with today's highs and what's in store for the rest of the week. Carlene?
More heat.
It's going to get worse.
It is, and that's the thing. We are talking about not being there just yet. And the worst of it in the two areas that are under an alert are going to be this weekend. We've even had an extension when it does come to that excessive heat warning. So for today, taking a look at those highs, we had 109 degrees for Borrego Springs. Also talking about the mid to upper 90s. That was for Escondido, the same for Valley Center and for Ramona. We were in the low 90s today for Fallbrook as well as for La Mesa. Now you had the 70s right along the coast, and that's because of that marine layer, rather shallow, and also seeing some hazy sunshine in the afternoon hours, so that kind of evens out the temperatures just a little bit more, keeping things pretty mild along the coast. So the 70s are going to stick around for coastal communities, and then we will have more of those 90s across inland areas by tomorrow. 110 degrees for Borrego Springs. As mentioned, two areas that are under an excessive heat warning. That's the mountains as well as for the desert. That goes all the way until 8 p.m. on Monday now, with the hottest temperatures expected this weekend, upwards of triple-digit heat across our mountains, and then also talking about 115 to 120 when it comes to the desert. We'll go ahead and take a look at your complete forecast and clear up some confusion for anyone who has an iPhone and is looking at that weather coming up. Carlo.
All right, thanks, Carlene. And with those temperatures on the rise, we found one nonprofit in the South Bay that's focused on helping the unsheltered population stay cool during periods of intense heat. CBS 8's Brian White is live in Chula Vista tonight to explain to us. Brian.
Yeah, I'm here on C Street in front of Community Through Hope. They're a no-barrier drop-in center focused on wraparound services for unsheltered people. Now, they're closed now, but earlier they had the whole cool zone set up here with the tents, the fans, all of that, because while this heat wave is ramping up, they want to cool people down.
Oh my God, these people are beautiful, man. They make our lives much better. They treat us with a lot of respect, and we all love coming in.
Mike Perry here singing the praises of Community Through Hope, a nonprofit based in Chula Vista focused on providing wraparound services to unsheltered people in the South Bay.
They provide services that are awesome. Food every day, clothes when you need them, tents, anything you ask for. Help you get services.
On Monday, they started Project Cool Zone here in the parking lot next to their office, where people can sit in the shade under tents with industrial-sized fans to cool them down.
So it's a giant fan. It's actually normally in our warehouse, but you can put water in it, and so it actually like slowly mists the area as well, which is super helpful.
Sebastian Martinez is executive director for the nonprofit, and he says they're making plenty of refreshments available for people during this heat wave.
They'll also have access to spray water bottles, ice packs, sunscreen, anything that kind of helps bring down the temperature. But also while they're here, they don't have to worry about maybe engaging with people that are fans of unsheltered people.
Every Tuesday, they have 2 mobile showers set up here for what they call Project Refresh, so people can clean up and cool down.
It's really popular. It's the only mobile shower program in the South Bay that's weekly, so folks kind of plan their schedule around, let me go get my shower, and then I'll figure out the rest of my week.
The nonprofit, which doesn't receive any government funding, has been operating here on C Street for nearly 5 years now. And with these sweltering temperatures on the rise this week, the staff here is focused on helping anyone who needs it.
It's such a big deal. I mean, it's hard to get anything done when you're unsheltered and trying to deal with being outside, but having the element of it being hot. And I think trying to go from one place to another, it just really kind of brings people's spirits down. And so our goal is to lift them up. If they can get cool and relax, then they can actually work on what they need to.
Now they're going to keep their cool zones up here with the tents, the fans, the refreshments, all that for the rest of the summer. It's not just for this heat wave, and their hours are Monday through Friday from 9:30 to 4.
Brian, such critical support for people who are unsheltered. We know San Diego, the city of San Diego, seen a big jump in homelessness in the last year. Are they seeing the same type of thing in the South Bay?
They are. The last point in time count conducted in January for this year by the Regional Task Force on Homelessness showed a 54% increase for the city of Chula Vista here. And Sebastian tells me that with the things that are going on, like that encampment ban that's soon to be enforced in San Diego, they're expecting more of an influx here to South Bay.
And more of a demand for services like the ones you showed us in your story, Brian. Brian White reporting live for us. Thanks, Brian.
San Diego County is offering you a way to cool down during this heat with cool zones. Most libraries and community rec centers around the county are considered cool zones. In the city of San Diego alone, there are 36 libraries you can head to.
It feels good because when I was out there, I started sweating even though I was just sitting down. And then I came in here and it's all quiet in here. It feels relaxing.
Yeah, you can read a good book too while you're in there. For a full list of cool zones, you can head to the county website. If you do plan to spend a lot of time outside, peak heat hours are from 11 a.m. until 2 p.m., so try to avoid those particular hours. Make sure to constantly drink water and wear your sunscreen. A statewide campaign kicked off today to raise awareness about extreme heat.
The website called heatreadyca.com helps people find cooling areas like the ones we just showed you in their area. As our Morgan Reiner tells us, the site also has tips on how to stay hydrated and healthy.
It's a 2-year, $20 million campaign focused on groups of people at the highest risk, like individuals with disabilities or those 65 and older. One of the first things Sherry Raisler noticed when she visited the state's new website.
Good color contrast as well.
Raisler is the executive director of the Society for the Blind. She says people with disabilities are disproportionately impacted by extreme heat.
People who are blind and low vision, they're going to need to rely on most likely public transportation or a ride service. And again, oftentimes you're waiting outside for those rides. And so it can become very dangerous. A lot of the bus stops aren't covered with shade producing cover.
The website helps people create an emergency plan and locate resources in their area. But the campaign as a whole does more, including partnering with 100 organizations across the state to go out into the vulnerable communities and better prepare them.
I think anytime there is an extreme weather event, there is absolutely that risk that people are going to be so unsafe outdoors that they end up dying, whether that's from dehydration or heat exhaustion and not being able to get anywhere to where they can cool down or get hydrated again.
Angela Hassel with the Homeless Services Organization says outreach is crucial because many don't have access to the internet.
Any awareness that we can raise around the way that this type of weather affects folks is going to have a positive impact. I think sometimes things like information about the cooling centers and when they come online, sometimes our guests are the folks that are the last to hear about it because they don't have access to all of that technology.
Right now, there are websites in both English and Spanish. There will soon be more in Asian languages.
Thank you, Morgan. Former San Diego Mayor Kevin Faulconer says he's running for the County Board of Supervisors. Faulconer announced on his Twitter handle this morning that he will challenge District 3 Supervisor Tara Lawson-Remer for her seat in next year's elections. The district covers much of the county's coast, starting just north of Imperial Beach, running all the way up through Carlsbad. Faulconer is taking aim at homelessness as an issue, citing his record as mayor for the city of San Diego, saying he made significant progress reducing homelessness during his time in office.
The San Diego Veterans Parade is back this year after a 3-year pause because of the pandemic.
Event organizers say the goal is to make it the biggest Veterans Day parade on the West Coast. It's set to take place along the waterfront downtown on November 12th. There will be floats and bands, but the event's main purpose is to honor the sacrifices of our veterans. You can find more information on our website, cbs8.com.
Still ahead, a former Charles Manson follower is free from prison tonight.
But first, our bracing for the burn coverage continues with a cautionary tale. A local woman who lost everything in the 2003 Cedar Fire tells you what to do if you're ever forced to evacuate.